Martial arts and Wuxia cinema, with its wandering swordsmen, secret clans, and righteous heroes, is one of the most iconic genres in Chinese film history. But behind the legendary battles and heroic tales lies a hidden story, a story of censorship, politics, and cultural struggle. Because in China, Wuxia wasn't just criticized, it was banned. Twice. Today, we explore why martial arts and Wuxia films were seen as dangerous, how war and revolution reshaped Chinese cinema, and how Hong Kong and Taiwan kept the spirit of Wuxia alive until the mainland finally reopened its doors decades later. The origins of Wuxia cinema stretch back to the 1920s, when Shanghai was the beating heart of Chinese filmmaking. Filmmakers began adapting popular martial arts novels into silent epics filled with daring heroes and rebellious swordsmen. But this wasn't just grounded fighting. This was Shengguai Wuxia, a subgenre blending martial arts with the supernatural. The most famous example was the burning of the Red Lotus Temple, 1928. It was a massive 16-part saga that captivated the nation. It showcased flying daggers, warriors who could burrow into the earth, and mystical disappearing acts. Audiences went wild, theaters overflowed. Young viewers began imitating the moves they saw on screen, and a nationwide Wuxia craze was born. These films weren't just entertainment. They offered escapism and moral fantasy during a chaotic era of warlords, political instability, and social uncertainty. Wuxia heroes represented justice outside the system, individuals who fought for righteousness when the real world felt broken. Tragically, all prints of the burning of the Red Lotus Temple are lost to time, but we still have a glimpse of that era through films like Hongxia, Red Heroine from 1929, one of the earliest surviving Wuxia movies. It shows us what early cinematic Wuxia looked like. Bold, imaginative, and filled with impossible martial arts and supernatural feats that defined this first golden age. By the early 1930s, the Kuomintang government under Chiang Kai-shek was trying to unify and modernize China. To many officials and intellectuals, Wuxia films represented the opposite of that goal. They were seen as promoting superstition, feudal values, vigilantism, and a romanticized past that clashed with ideas of modern nation-building. Influential voices from the May 4th movement had already criticized Wuxia stories as backward and unscientific. Media reports of children injuring themselves while trying to fly off roofs or performing magic rituals added fuel to the fire. To the government, Wuxia cinema began to look less like harmless fantasy and more like a social problem. In 1930, the Kuomintang introduced a national film censorship law and established the Central Film Censorship Committee. While the law was not created solely to target Wuxia, the genre quickly became one of its main victims. By 1931, strict censorship policies effectively shut down Wuxia production on the mainland. Filmmakers were pressured to stop making swordplay films, and many projects were denied approval. The result was clear: mainland Wuxia cinema collapsed almost overnight. But the genre didn't disappear. It simply moved to Hong Kong. Under British colonial rule, Hong Kong had a far more relaxed approach to film censorship that made it a safe haven for directors, writers, and producers who still believed in the genre. During the 1930s and 1940s, Hong Kong cinema kept Wuxia alive, even as mainland China turned away from it. This shift was crucial. It meant that Wuxia was no longer only a mainland Chinese art form. It became a transnational genre, shaped by migration, exile, and cultural exchange. While China descended into years of war, Japanese invasion, and civil conflict, Hong Kong slowly became the new center of Chinese-language filmmaking. The first ban had silenced Wuxia in its birthplace, but it could not kill it. In 1949, the Communist Party won the Chinese Civil War and established the People's Republic of China. Mao Zedong's regime viewed Wuxia with even deeper suspicion. The Communist Party saw the lone hero of Wuxia as a threat to the collective hero of the state. These films were branded as bourgeois poison, promoting feudal loyalty and distracting the masses from the class struggle. Martial arts novels stopped being published. Wuxia films were no longer approved. The entire genre was considered ideologically unacceptable. During the Cultural Revolution, 1966 to 1976, this suppression reached its peak. Traditional culture of all kinds came under attack. Mainland cinema shifted entirely to revolutionary operas, like The Red Detachment of Women. Wuxia didn't just vanish, it was systematically erased from mainland screens for nearly 30 years. But while Wuxia was banned in the mainland, it was exploding elsewhere. Hong Kong entered its golden age. Studios like Shaw Brothers and Golden Harvest turned martial arts cinema into a global phenomenon. Directors such as King Hu revolutionized the genre with films like Come Drink With Me, Dragon Inn, and A Touch of Zen, blending graceful choreography with poetic storytelling. Chang Che created a tougher, more masculine style with films like The One-Armed Swordsman, shaping what modern action cinema would become. Stars like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan became international icons of kung fu cinema, a related branch of martial arts film. While Wuxia continued to thrive primarily in swordplay and fantasy-based stories, Taiwan also played a key role. Although there was a brief Wuxia ban in Taiwan in 1959 under the KUOMINTANG, the genre soon returned through local productions and collaborations with Hong Kong filmmakers. Together, Hong Kong and Taiwan preserved Wuxia storytelling during the decades when mainland China had turned its back on it. Without them, the genre might have disappeared entirely. The Iron Curtain finally began to lift in the 1980s. As China began its opening and reform era, Wuxia novels returned to bookstores, television adaptations of classics became national sensations. The turning point was the Shaolin Temple, 1982, starring a young Jet Li. Shot on location at the real Shaolin Monastery, the film celebrated traditional martial arts in a way that fit within the new political climate. It avoided supernatural fantasy and focused instead on national heritage and physical discipline. The movie was a massive hit and sparked a new kung fu craze across China. From there, co-productions between mainland China and Hong Kong became increasingly common. By the late 1980s and 1990s, martial arts films were fully returning to Chinese screens. And in the 2000s, Wuxia experienced a spectacular renaissance with films like Hero and House of Flying Daggers, which presented classical swordplay stories as visually stunning expressions of Chinese culture. What had once been banned as feudal superstition was now celebrated as national heritage. Looking back, it's fascinating that Wuxia was banned twice for very different reasons. 3 times if you count the short local ban in Taiwan. In the 1930s, the Kuomintang feared Wuxia because it seemed to encourage disorder, superstition, and resistance to authority. After 1949, the Communist Party rejected it because it promoted individualism, tradition, and values outside socialist ideology. The same genre threatened 2 completely different political systems, because at its core, Wuxia is always about the same idea: a lone hero standing up against unjust power. And that idea can make any government nervous. The story of Wuxia cinema is a story of survival, a genre born in the silent era, nearly erased by bans, war, and revolution, yet kept alive by filmmakers and audiences in Hong Kong and Taiwan until it could finally return home. Today, Wuxia stands as proof that stories are stronger than politics, and that cultural traditions can survive even the harshest attempts to suppress them. If this dive into Wuxia's forbidden history sparked your interest, give the video a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more martial arts cinema history. Thanks for watching.